The report concludes that, quote, it is shown that whatever the temperature to which a section of the atmosphere may be heated, no self-propagating chain of nuclear reactions is likely to be started. And, however, though the Manhattan Project scientists didn't identify any bomb that could feasibly lead to the end of the world, that doesn't mean they didn't calculate it. Just in case the huge safety factor wasn't enough to quell private concerns, the three scientists writing the original paper calculated the minimum volume of air that would have to be heated up to that 100 billion Kelvin temperature and the energy required to do so. They figured out that not only would a nuclear blast have to create a sphere of air 10,000 times hotter than the core of the sun in order to sustain a nitrogen fusion chain, that sphere of air would have to be over 100 meters wide. And to do all of this, it would require an amount of energy equivalent to 20 times more energy than is contained in the current world supply of nuclear weapons. Impossible. When the Little Boy nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, just a few weeks after the Trinity test in the August of 1945, it contained 64 kilograms of uranium-235. But when it detonated, less than 1 kilogram underwent fission. The total amount of energy released that day was from just half a gram of mass turning directly into energy. To set the whole world on fire, the Los Alamos scientists reassuringly calculated would take roughly 1,000,000 times more material than this. A bomb with 1.5 million kilograms of uranium reacting with 100% efficiency. Again, impossible. The Manhattan Project also considered one final protection from atmospheric annihilation. In a small volume of air, radiation can easily escape, but in a much larger volume of bomb-heated air, there is a larger chance that the radiation and energy inside will interact with itself before leaving. Inside a glob of star-temperature air, photons of radiation and hot electrons bump into each other, which robs the electrons of their energy needed to sustain potential fusion reactions. The end result of this inverse Compton scattering is even more energy losses in the safety factor equation, increasing the safety factor by up to 400%, and making a very unlikely scenario even more unlikely. To be clear, Manhattan Project physicists were skeptical of atmospheric ignition even before the ink on the calculations was dry. But in these numbers, they found all the justification they needed to split the atom, and therefore history, in two. 15 seconds before 5:30 a.m. on Monday, July 16th, 1945, half of the world's supply of plutonium was compressed by conventional explosives into a critical mass. The resulting energy release vaporized the gadget, disintegrated the tower it was hoisted up, and melted the sand around the site into radioactive glass. A mushroom cloud rose into the morning sky, a second sunrise, as the scientists described it, and instantly became the symbol
The fuck
of the
is happening
nuclear
with
age.
Apex Legends?
Manhattan Project scientist George Kistiakowsky was reportedly knocked to the ground, even though he was 5 miles away. He got up and ran over to Robert Oppenheimer, who was nearby.